chat right now. We've got
different. So there's a lot of sound, there's a lot of noise.
Why is everybody in slow motion?
Without further ado, let's bring on Chris. Further ado. So without further ado, but without further ado, let's bring on Lori. It sounds so funny for us. How's it going, guys? Howdy, everybody. It's Friday.
Friday.
We're
Happy
back
Friday.
at it.
It's crazy. It just feels like every Friday is the next day now. Everything goes by so fast. I don't know if it's technology. I was talking to someone where it's like, oh, is it age? Like we're in our 30s now. And then it's like, I don't know, but it feels like back in the day, time just didn't go by so fast. You know what I mean? Because now we're just doing so much all the time. Like my mind can't go like half a minute without doing something or checking my phone. I don't know.
We're definitely never bored. That was the problem when I was a kid. Like I was always, I remember being bored and going like my mom, like, what should I do? Like, you know, you got no freedom. You're not old enough to do a lot of the cool things that adults can do, like grow plants.
That's right.
But I mean, if you want to get into like crazy stoner theories that'll blow your mind, I've always thought to look at your age relative, right? So 1 hour when you're 40, think about the percentage of your life that 1 hour is compared to when you're 1 year old. 1 hour is a much higher percentage of your life. So maybe that also affects how we perceive the passage of time. So that's a little like, don't think too hard on that because it might mess you up, guys.
Gonna get into some Terrence McKenna stuff.
Yeah. We're going to be a whole different podcast if we go down that line of thinking. Exactly. But anyways, guys, we've been doing the grow along with H's plants. My mother plant is what, 4 weeks old now?
Yeah, 4 weeks old now. Just 4, yeah.
Yeah. GGC, the 37 contestants are currently being judged by the internal judges before we're going to be doing the fan voting portion. So quick reminder, guys, there's 5 categories that these plants will be scored on: plant size, bud consistency, root mass, and the training creativity. So those will make up 50 points. And then there's going to be 10 points given out for fan voting. So if you're the best for fan voting, you're going to get a 10 out of 10. Second best is going to get a 9, and so on. So from what we've been seeing so far, there might be a couple plants that are very close on the actual objective score, which is very shocking because we kind of set it up so that nobody could get a perfect score.
Right.
And then people proved us wrong. So the fan voting will matter. Troy's in the chat and letting us know a great point to bring up. That's $5,000 on the line, guys. So please do, when you're voting, do it with some integrity. Like there's a rule that contestants can't solicit votes. So let's make sure if we're voting that we're doing it objectively based on what you think the best plant is, because that's I'd say almost life-changing money for the short term for most people, right? Yeah. Like an extra $5,000, that's a couple of months rent payment, food payment. Like that's a big deal. So very cool. So yeah, we'll check in with your tents. We'll check in with your plants, and then what are you gonna do for the grow along today?
Today we're going to be transplanting. Our little girls are already ready for transplant, 3 weeks in already. So it's actually they're 1 week later than when Kurt transplanted his, which was at 2 weeks, super early. But last week we just saw it wasn't, yet the time, the roots weren't there yet. So we're going to look at them today. We're going to be doing a transplant. And after that, we're going to be bringing you guys here with us to share the screen with us so that we can look at your plants. If you haven't done this before, it's super cool. We're going to share a link here. You can just click that link. We're going to share the screen with you. Everybody's going to see your plant. So if you have something to show off that you're really proud of, come on. And if you have something that is not doing so well and you're freaking out and you have no idea what's wrong with it, come on as well. We're going to diagnose the problem with it. So far, we've had a 100% hit rate on the diagnosis of plants that were sick. So we would love to see you guys on the second half here. Sometimes we go all the way past the hour with screen sharing with everybody. So
yeah. Steve Burns from Facebook says, why is it so choppy? My connection is fine. We're hardwired in. So it could be a problem with Facebook potentially. We're also live on YouTube and on X. If you want to be entered into the giveaway, I would try YouTube if you're having trouble with the Facebook stream. Maybe they're just trying to suppress us because we're in this industry. But hey, we'll
Go
leave the
figure.
conspiracy theories out for now. So I guess it's time to check
Oh, it's
in.
fine now. Yeah, sweet. All
Is it
right, there we
fine?
go. Yeah, so our connection is hardwired.
We do our best.
We do our best. You know, sometimes there could be to be a little glitch, but let us know. Please let us know if there's any issues so that we're aware of it.
Anyways, let's do a little tent check-in.
Perfect. Yeah, let's go have a look at my tents. I mean, we only have 2 running now because soon we're going to be putting that.
Actually, I could maybe show the little reel we put together for your harvest of the
right.
Let's do
have a
that
look at
after.
too. Yeah, so we'll look at the tents and then the harvest reel for the tent.
Yeah.
Perfect.
With our vegging plants, what we have here is Curtis's mother plant, which was already topped last week. It's grown its branches maybe an inch and a half, but it definitely needs a little bit more before we train him with the bud clips. Then what we have here is actually a pepper plant that is going to be our model plant for the video we're making for Amazon. Amazon unfortunately doesn't like to see cannabis images there, but nonetheless, these are the 2 seedlings that we're going to be doing the grow along. And today it's transplant day, so we're going to be transplanting these ones here shortly. And what we also have here, again for comparison, is the plant that we didn't transplant. So it's been 2 weeks already since Kurtz's plant has been transplanted, and this one here hasn't. They're both the same strain, and you can see what happens, the difference between the 2 of them, right? Not only this one here topped as well, but the leaves are much bigger. Oh yeah, no, it's pretty much the size of my hand right now. Yeah, they're doing really well. And then what we have on the 2x4 tent right here is our Alaskan Do-si-dos. Now I must be honest, it's getting a little bit too fox-tailed for my liking. Foxtails are these little tails here that come off from the top and the sides because it's trying to get more airflow around it, because it's a little too hot. So I've already reduced the lighting a little bit. The leaves are very dark green. You can really see it now because the lights are off. But the smells are starting to come through, and the trichomes are starting to come through more because they took a little while. And now I think this is a later flowering strain. So we're going to just let her continue going until the end here without touching it. As we can see here, the bottom stalk looks really good. Clearly has sativa leaning properties with how large this stalk was all the way to the 4th node over there. But we got a perfect BudTrainer method out of this one here. And that's about it for our update today, guys. We're going to see you on the other side there for us to do a transplant during the grow along. Let's get her done.
All right, here we are. Perfect. Oh, it's actually a great positioning there of the camera. I think we're pretty good. I can move a little bit more here. There we go. All right, guys. So what we have here are those 2 seedlings that we just showed you in the 2x2 tent that we started 3 weeks ago. So we planted them here 3 weeks ago. If you guys are growing with us, your plants should hopefully be at a similar stage. As you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes that grew on both of them. Okay, they're slightly different from one another. You can see one is slightly bigger, the other one is slightly smaller. You can be the judge of it. However, they're very close. They're both Bubba cheesecakes. They have both the same height, you could say. They started in a humidity dome and then went to the tent at about week 2. We wanted to transplant it on week 2, which was last week. However, it wasn't quite time yet since they were a little bit too short and the roots weren't touching the sides of these bud cups. So now I want you guys to help us choose which one we're going to transplant. This one here in the black bud cup is Bubba Cheesecake number 1. We have it on the label right there, Bubba Cheesecake number 1. And then we have Bubba Cheesecake number 2 here in the yellow bud cup. That is Bubba Cheesecake number 2. So before you guys make your choice on whether we should transplant number 1 or number 2, and we're going to see in the comments here which one wins, we are also going to look at the roots. So let me check out the roots on
this Bubba Cheesecake #1 here. So beauty about the Bud Cups is you can just pop that bottom. It's removable. And then we can have a look at the roots right from here. And I can already see some roots popping out at the bottom and around it. So this means it's almost past time of transplanting because they're starting to circle around a little bit. But the nice thing about the Bud Cups is that it creates that natural pruning. And if we remove the little bottom plate here like that, we don't have any roots circling at the bottom. So as we can see, this Bubba Cheesecake #1 is actually not bad. Let me face it. Well, that side has quite a few roots. This side here as well. We'll get real nice and close there, as you guys can see. So that one is #1. And you guys can also choose between this one or #2. So let's pop that bottom up just like that. Pick it up. The nice thing too is these are strong enough that we can pick them up by the stem. If they're not, you can always hold them by the root ball itself, right? So I'm going to now remove the Bud Cups bottom plate here. And as we can see, this one has roots going down more and roots all the way from the top. This #1 here doesn't really have roots on the top half on my right hand here, or technically left. It does from that angle. However, as we look on this one that I'm spinning now, there's definitely more roots at the top. So what do you guys think we should transplant? This one here, #1, or this one here, #2? Let's see.
At #2, I see a yellow cup in the comments.
Yeah, yellow cup or #2, black cup or #1.
Not seeing any votes for the black cup yet, Paige, but only 2 votes
Yeah.
in. We got
Okay.
3 now.
So
Votes for 2, 5 votes for 2.
#2 here. Okay, yeah,
got
looks like.
one
All right.
vote.
All righty. Sorry, #1. Just like Kurtz's plant, maybe I'll keep it for a little bit longer. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet because I don't have space to grow all of them. But sorry, #1, we lost. Let's put you back in there.
Of this digital world. Got all these friends that might want that, but
Exactly. Well, and there we go. The plant was pretty much undisturbed. We just took it out, put it back in. We lost a sliver of soil, and we're good to go. So now,
Spanish race is both. Spanish
Both.
race with both.
Just-
both in one.
right? Yeah, I know. That would be interesting, an interesting alternative of the BudTrainer method. So what I'm going to do here real quick, guys, is just make a hole. What I like to do is I like to put both my hands, one hand on the outside and one on the inside. And I don't press it, but I just tighten up the soil on the side enough that it stays. And then when I let go, I have a hole there, right? So it's just, if you hold one side out and the other side in, you can make that hole a lot easier here. So there we go. We have the hole that is big enough to fit the bud pots. The nice thing about the bud pots, the bud cups as well, is that they're wider than a red solo cup and shorter. So you get your 16 ounces in a much stubbier a piece of root ball. Now, before we put this one down in there, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of Pro Mix Connect. Mycorrhizal fungi is something that helps your roots. It's a fungus that will create roots, its own roots inside of your root system so that it pulls nutrients easier from the soil or whatever media you're growing into. And in exchange, the plant gives the fungi a little bit of sugar. So it's a symbiotic relationship that they have where the plant gets more nutrients, the fungi gets the sugar it needs, and everybody's happy. So I like to sprinkle a little bit on the bottom of the hole where I'm going to be transplanting so that we make sure that those bottom roots, which is really where they're going to grow next and right away, they get it, but also on the side, especially where you have that root mass. So now all we're going to do here is gently transplant it. Just put it right in the middle. I like to look from the top here because sometimes it's easy to transplant and then be like an inch off the side. Now, the trick here to let the soil fall around your seedling is very simple. Instead of pushing the soil around, all you have to do is tap the sides of your pot like this, and the soil falls exactly where it needs to without putting pressure on your seedling. That's why I put a little bit of pressure on the sides there to make that hole so that they stay. But then you tap it and it goes right back to being soft again. So what we have here is a seedling
perfectly transplanted. Now, the next step is to water it. I'm not going to do it now because it's going to take too long, but what we're going to do is water it with some veg nutrients from the Athena blended line that I am using. I still have to mix those right after the episode here, and then I'm going to be watering it. Now, mind you, when watering a plant, what we highly recommend, especially when you're using fabric pots, is to water your plant until you get a little bit of water at the bottom of your pot. Not enough that it's going to start dripping and going around your tray, but just a little bit that when you pull your pot out, it's wet at the bottom, because what that's going to do is it means that your entire media is soaked and your seedling is going to be there for at least 1 week, if not 10 days, 2 weeks. And the roots that you just transplanted, they're going to go looking for the water everywhere it is. So if you start watering very little, like some people like to do, your roots only grow locally, but then you have all of this dry stuff around. If you soak it and you don't water it anymore for another week to 2 weeks, that's where you get the most root growth. So this is what we're going to do here right after. And then next week, when we have this episode, we might or might not rewater again. Okay, so we're just going to skip that here for now for the sake of saving you guys some time, because also when you're watering, make sure to do it slowly, otherwise your water goes all the way through. That's it for now for our transplant. Kurt,
Let's do a little tea break while we transition.
perfect. Let's.
Right, we are back. That was
It, guys.
smooth.
Huh?
Somewhat smooth.
Yeah, that one pretty smooth. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't complain.
For-
I think honestly, I could have transplanted maybe like 3-4 days ago already, because the roots were starting to get, too much to the side. And the thing is, as soon as you see roots on the sides of your transplant cup, that's when you want to transplant, because that means they're ready to grow into the pot. If you wait too long and they start circling around, a lot of times when you transplant, they continue growing in that direction and they don't actually, get out as much. So that's why it's important to transplant as soon as you see roots on the sides of your starting container, just like we did there with the bud cups. Pop it, check it,
Yeah.
transplant it.
So Mike a couple weeks ago said that he might come on and show the harvest. He says he's got a little bit of a back injury, but he did ask if this is his tea break. And yes, Mike, I did grace H with your gift to me. I gifted a little bit of it back to him and myself before. So
It was a special.
that's why we started the show off a little philosophical, I guess you could say. But now, guys, speaking of guests on the show, I probably should have got this out a little bit earlier. But I was able to, for those of you watching on a separate screen other than your phone, is get a little QR code here to make it nice and easy for you to join the show. So if you scan this, it'll take you to the link that I'm about to put in chat as well. And you can come on and show off your garden, show off a problem that you need H's help with, or just something you're super proud of. So go ahead and scan that link. If you're not watching on your phone, I realize that if you are on your phone, that's not going to work for you. So I'm going to put the guest link into the chat right now. So for those of you who are regulars, you'll know this part of the show is kind of really fun because we can see what other people are doing. And it's an opportunity for you guys to show off your skills, and you can plug your channels too if you're a content creator. Totally cool by us. That's how we've made Mike so famous. So.
That's right. Exactly right.
Definitely a give and take relationship with Mike, mostly us.
Mike, I really want to see that final yield though, because we've been following that one along for a while. So next week, make sure to let us know how it went. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah. So we'll give you guys a few minutes to come in to.
Maybe we can have a look at that video from the harvest.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Harvested the 3x3 last week, and we made a quick video about it. It's just drying right now beside me. And this one here, Kurt, I'm actually tempted to trim it because I'm not gonna just let it dry here like I usually do. I'm gonna actually go.
Oh, you're tempted to do what you should be doing anyways.
Exactly. So it's just there's very little trimming to do. The buds are all looking really good. I'm actually gonna pick up one little bit here. Okay. One branch off.
All right. Well, I'm gonna find our little reel that we did that showed the harvest of the what was it? The purple punch. That was an absolutely massive plant. Almost took a bit of a dive when we tried to chop it down, but it's still alive. So yeah, scan that code or join the show via the link that I posted in the chat. I'm gonna get this QR code out of the way.
So this is just a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I
Look at the
cut other
structure.
branches. Yeah, the structure is really good. Like all of the branches at the bottom, and then we have multiple others here that I cut down. But buds, I don't quite see them or not.
They never look as good as
No.
right when they get chopped. It's really
No, but on the camera, they're very, very crisply, but it's
Yeah.
hard to see in this camera here. But anyways, when we harvested it, it was what 3.5 pounds, almost 4 pounds
Yeah.
of wet weight. So I'm expecting to get a good 8 ounces or so.
cool. All right, I'm gonna play the harvest video.
For the most exciting day of the harvest because it's here, and today it's the most exciting day of the entire growing process because I'm going to be harvesting this entire purple punch that I grew from seedsmen. First of all, defoliating this plant here so that we don't have to work through these big fan leaves that are not holding any trichomes on them. Taking them all off until all I'm left with is these big colas here. Now it's time to remove those bud huggers, untie this trellis set, and give it a chop.
Thing's massive.
So now what we're going to do is we're just going to dry her 40% humidity for 2 days and 60% to finish it off in the final days. So let's see what we get out of it.
All right. Well, I had a couple comments on that post about the 40% thing. So maybe you can provide some clarity because I was saying it just kind of helps mitigate the risk of mold, but
Yeah, well, everyone has a different preference for drying, and different strains also react different to different, drying schemes. What I like to do down here in this basement, especially because it's a very sort of humid environment in here, and I have had multiple instances of very large buds that I grew not drying fast enough for those first 2 days, and then I get white mold on it. And white mold is the worst because, like, you've gone through the entire process, you end up with this beautiful plant, and then you're drying it when you're almost at the end of the race and you crash. So I think that because of that, what I've done and what a lot of growers do as well is for the first 2 days you dry your plants at 40% humidity because it has 75% of water weight that's going to be lost during those 2 days. Once that happens, once you go into the point where you go over dry your plant, that's when you raise that 40% to 45 or 50%. So what I usually do is 2 days at 40, 1 day at 45, and then 50%. And it stays at 50 because it goes between 50 and 55, 50 and 55, and then it finishes drying like that for another all the way to 7 to 10 days. And that's when I start curing it at a 60%, 58% humidity, which is what I particularly like, right? So some people, they think that 40% is too much for drying. And yes, if you're drying for 7 days at 40%, you're going to get some really crunchy buds. But 40% for the first 2 days, it actually ensures safety for your bud. And not only that, what I do down here in the bud studio as well is I have a dehumidifier. I set it to 40%, and I also put a very light fan blowing air on the buds because those ones, when you're hanging a whole plant like this, those ones in the middle here, they are still very humid, and that's where I've ended up with a lot of white mold as well. So if you want to be safe, you're not going to harm your plant by drying it at a 40% humidity for the first couple of days.
Awesome. We've got some people in the chat that are excited for a fight tonight. Are you going to be tuning into that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So is it free on Netflix? Like,
I
not free on
hope
Netflix,
it's
but like
free if you have
it
Netflix.
includes
Yeah.
in your Netflix subscription.
I
right?
did
Yeah.
see some weird article floating around that in the UK you might need something else.
Oh, is that right?
But
Oh.
I mean, the UK's got a lot of extra weird rules right
Yeah,
now.
well, I'm
So
definitely gonna tune in and have a watch. It's
Yeah.
entertaining. It's an entertaining one.
yeah, nothing like a Friday night, some entertaining fight, and some 420 things rosin. So
That's right.
it's
exactly.
Mike says it's free too, and so did Anthony. So yeah, it looks like that's great for me. I mean, I have Netflix. I've been super mad at the Leafs this year because they're on Sportsnet, TSN, and Amazon this year,
but not Netflix.
but not Netflix.
Well,
But no, but you'd need 3 streaming services
Oh,
unless you
that's
have
right. Yeah.
cable. Then you'd need
Yeah.
cable and Amazon. But anyways, they got to make their money, I guess, to pay those
That's right.
salaries. I don't blame the players.
That's how
But
it works.
Grow with Kenny is backstage here. If he gives me a little wiggle of the camera, I'm gonna take that as we're good to go, and I'm seeing a tent. So
Let's give it a
Grow
go.
with Kenny, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Just hanging out, man. How's your night going so far?
It's going. I figured I'd use the chance to show the grow and maybe some other people might follow and subscribe to the channel. Trying to get things started there.
Awesome. Yeah, are you on YouTube predominantly, or are you on a couple channels?
I'm on YouTube predominantly. It's under Grow with Kenny.
Very cool. All right, well, tell us what you're growing, Kenny.
Right now I've got a couple different things going on. These are Slurricane number 7 clones. I'm actually planning to start a breeding project and do a reversal. I've got some more down here. I'm gonna pick out of these right here the best 2 or 3. That way, I've got a backup for the reversal, and make some more seeds, and then try to start breeding with that down the line. But then also, I've got 6 of these go times from Jinx Proof Genetics. They're regs that I've just got started. And then behind those, there's 4, it's orange kush cake and chocolate pie crosses. And then there's one little tiny runt down there that's teed up, which is a train wreck.
So what light do you have? You just have like an open space there for your veg plants there?
Yeah, I've got one of the dimmable Spider Farmers, the SF 1000 or whatever, the 100-watt.
Nice.
And
you have
then
the white reflective walls beside it too. That's perfect.
yeah, and then in the 10 I've got 2 of the G3000s.
So that's Slurricane. That's why H grew the AK and the Purple Punch, because those are the two mother, I guess, genetics to that. I don't even know what the phrasing would be, but
Right. Yeah.
no, I'm trying to get our hands on the Slurricane. Have you grown that before?
I've actually, that's what I was gonna, I'll take you to the flower room here in a second. I've got multiple stages of flower of different clones.
Nice.
Technically, I guess these down here are like the 8th or 9th set of clones that I've got off of it. But these are from in-house genetics. The parents was Purple Punch and Dositos.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
the Alaskan Dositos, right? Or is it just regular Dositos?
In the
Yeah.
seed finder lineage, it just says Dositos, so
Okay.
I'm not
maybe that's what it
100%
is.
certain about that.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, let's see this flower tent, man.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll have to run to the other side of the house. It's more of a
Yeah,
flower
right.
room.
All righty. Well, yeah, so far so good, Kenny. I like what I see. You're obviously well down the rabbit hole of growing. Kenny so far is our only guest that's gonna come on, so that's totally cool. It just means it might be a shorter show. If you want to join up, there should be a link in the chat. I'm gonna throw up that QR code one more time for those watching on a separate screen, so you can easily scan that and
Hide
it'll
right
take
behind
you.
it.
Yeah, hide H's
Yeah, right there.
beautiful face. It's really probably a disservice to our show to hide his face, but yeah, that's actually what I thought we could do is we could mess with it, just like mime this thing.
There we go.
But anyways, we're back in the flower room. Let's see what's going on.
Well, nice.
So I've got 6 of them in here that's on day 32, and then I've got 2 of them that's on like day 16, and then I've got 2 that's just been brought in here like 2 or 3 days ago.
Right on.
But these are the ones that's on day 30 or 32ish.
And those are all the Slurricane
Yeah,
too, or no? Yeah. Okay. Nice. Right
and
on.
these are all clones too. I've been running this same strand now for basically over a year now.
Yeah, it's always nice to grow the same thing for a while because you get better and better at it.
See, these are the 2 that was just brought in a couple days ago. They're just now.
Right on.
And
You
then
like a heavy default, eh?
Yeah, I was gonna say that you do quite a lollipopping. Have you ever tried leaving like just a little bit more and seeing if the results are different?
I've run them. I've run these a bunch of different times, and the first couple of times I left a lot more on there. This time is actually the time that I've decided to go really hard on the default and
Mhm.
just kind of see these 2 back here. They was really lollipopped, but I didn't pull the tops down, so they've got a lot of taller tops on them, and then everything else I've kind of pulled down. But some of the training, mainly I've just been using basically bud clips to do all the training with them. I don't have anything staked, and those are all in 5-gallon fabric pots.
Very
Right on.
nice. So you don't even like, did you throw a trellis in for your last harvest? Or you're finding that the buds are still being supported enough without a trellis in there?
Sometimes in the end of like week 6, everything starts bulking up real quick. Sometimes I have to come in and kind of put a few stakes and supports in here and there.
Mhm.
I've grew it out in a tent one time under a trellis before, but I've also grown it outside, so I've had the experience of growing this outdoors under LED and under HPS, and it's done well under everything. So I've decided that I've got some STS spray. I'm gonna reverse a couple of those smaller clones and try to make some seeds and maybe work toward breeding something of my own the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's one part of the rabbit hole we definitely
know.
haven't gone down ourselves. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it too, but a nice way to support the buds, just to go back to the trellis net, is what H likes to do with the bud huggers and tie opposing branches with the bud huggers to help support each other. So something to keep in mind if you are having problems with the
Yeah, it's very
buds.
easy. You just
So,
pick up buds that are like opposite to one another and you tie them because then, instead of both of them flopping out, they stay in place. And that, especially when you don't have the trellis net. But those buds over there, especially with that default, they're going to get big, each one of those buds, right? So,
Yeah, I've actually done that basically myself with, I guess, with the training wire,
oh, yeah.
and it's worked out pretty good.
Right on. No, good stuff. Yeah, one's looking great.
The biggest thing though with why I default so hard in here is it's time for a new bulb in the old HPS. So
I was just
it's
gonna
time
say
to,
you got a really orange looking color coming off the light. I've never
Yeah.
seen it like that before.
yeah, I've got a 1,000-watt double-ended HPS in here, and it's definitely due for a bulb change. So I figured I would hit the default extra hard this time and try to get a bulb between now and the next time.
Very cool.
All right.
All right, Kenny. I really appreciate you coming on, guys. In the YouTube space here, go check out Grow with Kenny's channel, and do come on again, Kenny. We want to see some updates and some progression. It's always fun to see people who've come on the show come back 2, 4, 6 weeks later and really show us how much the plans change. So, anyways, enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll try to check back in with you guys. Every now and again, I catch one of your lives. It's just a matter of being on YouTube when you guys are actually going on. A lot of times the notifications don't come through for some reason.
Yeah, I've heard that problem with every channel, really. I mean, the best thing you can do is just set up a recurring calendar invite if you really want to make it, and I think that'll be the easiest way. But either way, appreciate you coming on. It looks like Anthony said your channel's name is Amber and Kenny. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's the name on the channel, but then down below or in the description, it's also labeled as Grow with Kenny.
Okay, perfect. All right, people know where to find you now, and they'll find you back here in a couple weeks, hopefully. Have a great weekend, Kenny.
Yep, you too.
All right.
All righty, guys. Well,
Nobody left to show off their plants. Mike's been carrying a lot of weight lately. I know Anthony's also carried a lot of weight in the past. So, um, we need a couple more people like that. Barb was having a problem getting her seeds to germinate because she wanted to do the grow along with you.
right.
But I
But they
saw a
didn't come out.
comment that she hasn't been able to
Yeah.
get those going. We had a couple questions while Kenny was on about the GGC, so we did touch on that earlier in the episode. But just to recap, 37 plants made it to the end with the final submission, following all the guidelines. And in the beginning, there was a lot of people that were kind of frustrated with it. It's the first time we've done it, so we did our best. 37 people made it all the way to the end.
Yeah, that's about 20% of people who competed made it to the end, So
Yeah.
we thought more would make it, which goes to show you guys that, a lot of times just surviving till the end is already a feat in its own, right? So with that said, we have not decided on the 10 or not decided. I have not graded everybody to decide on which ones are the 10 finalists. But as soon as we do, they're going to be announced November 22nd. And then we're going to get our very influencers who have been helping us pull this off since the very beginning, including on the Scrogger here on the chat with us. They're going to be doing the final grading for the final scores. And that's when we're going to put them also up for 1 week up for voting so that you guys can determine which one is the best one all the way to the last one. And the ones who get the most amount of points are going to be awarded an extra 10 points, and then 9, 8, 7, all the way to 1, which is the extra criteria there. So,
and we'll be
stay
announcing
tuned.
the winner in Vegas.
Yeah, in Vegas, MJ BizCon on December 6th. We'll be announcing the winner at 12 p.m. PST or 3 p.m. EST. So tune in, and we're going to have more announcements going out, of course. So just stay tuned on social and your email, and you're going to get all the info you need.
Very cool. I'm super excited. It's like a couple weeks away.
I
Now
know.
we get Vegas is my
crazy how close
favorite
it is.
place to visit because I got into gambling way too young as a kid. Can't really afford to do it as much as I want to. And it shouldn't be that much of a priority in my life. I keep telling myself every time the itch comes, but I'm a Hold'em player, or at least used to be. So hopefully we'll get a tournament going.
That's right.
I don't know if you gamble much or ever have.
No, I
Is
don't.
it big in Brazil? Do people gamble in Brazil?
No, in Brazil it's actually illegal.
Is it?
Yeah, they
Okay,
made it
fair
illegal a
enough.
long time ago because people were losing their whole livelihoods, and then they made it illegal and it never came back. So there's not much
Yeah.
where
Amber
I'm from.
and Kenny, which is Kenny who just came on, asked if we're still doing the weekly giveaways, and we are. And since we don't have anybody else to come on the show, why don't we start collecting the comments right now? We can keep chatting for a bit. It's only 4:40. We got 20 minutes left on the workday, so for our business sake, we can't cut out this early. But we can definitely start the draw.
We'll give you guys 5 minutes or so here to type in hashtag MJBiz on the chat, both on Facebook or YouTube. If you're on the other channels such as Instagram or Facebook,
We have 3 people watching on X.
Or
We
X.
love you, but your comments will not register in this. So you'll have to go to YouTube or Facebook. It's unfortunately just the mechanics of StreamYard, or probably the platform you're on in combination. So that goes for the people on Instagram. I think we might have 1 or 0 there. 2 people on Instagram. Thank you for watching. Again, I think the experience of watching the show is much better on YouTube, especially compared to Instagram, because it's got those
horizontal,
bars and all that stuff. So
No, that's
we'll give
right.
some people some time to come over to YouTube or Facebook. $25 gift card is available to anybody, so that's international. If you're in North America, we can ship you $25 worth of gear, or of course, you could take the $25 gift card.
give it as a gift.
Yeah, hold on to it for a
Christmas time now.
couple weeks. We might have a little sale coming up.
That's right.
So definitely do. I mean, you don't have to hold on to it. You can spend it right away, or just ask us for the gear. But, anyways, Scrogger says good luck. And it's MJ BizCon, hashtag MJ BizCon. If you're going to be in Vegas,
26.
please do let us know beforehand so that we can at least try to cross paths, because I think the venue is going to be pretty big.
They will be very massive. Yeah, lots of people, and we're very much looking forward to going there and meeting everyone.
Yeah. So very cool, guys. We've got, let me check here, 27 people out of the 51 watching on X, YouTube, and Facebook.
Excellent.
I think X is getting pretty popular with the Canada community. Lots of people migrating from Instagram for obvious reasons. We actually had our IG page temporarily shut down a couple weeks ago. Rough night for Kurt as the social media
Couple of days,
manager.
really,
Yeah, it was. We did appeal. I know there's a lot of people that might be upset to hear this, but we got ours back, thankfully. I know a lot of you guys
they even apologized, saying
they sent us an email. I was shocked. We had already created a backup account for Instagram because we're persistent. We're not going to give up that easy. But yeah, long story short, we got it back. And we've been doing memes lately. So hopefully you guys enjoy the memes.
And if you're not yet, follow us, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And get those notifications whenever something new goes up. All right. Are we almost ready there?
We're at 29. I really do want 30. But,
there we go. 30. And that's it. Hit it. 30 and hit it.
All right. I think we'll enjoy some more of Mike's present after this. What do you think,
right.
H?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right.
DB Brothers DB.
DB Brothers DB.
Maybe that stands for Dab. We'll just say
Dab Brothers.
Dab Brothers Dab. It's like an anthem.
That's right.
So congratulations. Please email us at hello@budtrainer.com with a screenshot of your YouTube account and your requested either prize or just a gift card. We just need your email. And Dab Brothers Dab. That's what we're going to be doing. There was somebody who won a couple weeks ago. They didn't give me their shipping address or answer what kind of products they want as far as color of Bud Cup. So if that's you, I'm forgetting who it was. Please check your email, because Buddy has reached out to you 3 times now. So he really wants you to get your prize, but we haven't gotten a response.
That's right, guys. That's how far we go to give you your prizes. Without further ado, guys, I think that we're pretty much good to head off for the weekend. Yeah.
Dab Brothers Dab.
Dab Brothers.
And go Mike Tyson.
That's right. Yeah.